You're probably wondering, what coins have good potential? I'm going to be talking to you today about some long-term holds that have potential longer than this cycle and you can profit from in the next 5 to 10 years. If you watch this whole video, you'll know what you'll be able to invest in with projects that have long-term potential. But a few reminders before we get started. My name is Matthew Brienen. I work at CryptoCharge.com as Chief Operating Officer. Here's a few reminders. If you want to get consumed with the latest info in crypto, check out CryptoCharge.com. We offer technical analysis, 5 live shows a week, as well as breaking news that you need to know to be making informed decisions about your cryptocurrency investing. Let's get into the charts. I want to show you guys first, before we talk about the 3 coins that are going to be absolutely explosive in both the short term and the long term, I want to talk to you about Bitcoin. And we always start with Bitcoin because it's the top of the funnel and it's going to give us the biggest insight into what the crypto market might do next. So looking over here at this Bitcoin chart, and this is a 2-day chart, I'm going to show you guys just a couple things that you need to know about what's happened over these last few months to the Bitcoin price chart. So we all know that the market's peaked over here in November of 21, right around $67,000, $68,000, right? And then started its cascade down. And a lot of us thought, okay, well, it's a pullback. This is a higher low. The uptrend continues. But that wasn't the case, right? Especially once we took out this very crucial level over here, taking out this, $30,000 level. That's when everyone started getting very bearish, seeing this huge capitulation behavior after breaking below that $29,000 level. Now, since then, there's been a lot of indicators that we're in a deep downtrend. So if we look at even from the high up here, and if we were to draw a trend line most recently down here, this also faked out a lot of traders in April, as well as late April of this year. You can see that we broke above this trend line, started to use it as support here, and then eventually broke back down. You can see since then, we've had multiple attempts to break above and with failure, right? Now we have 4 attempts since that false breakout, turning this into a resistance level once again. Moreover, if we were to look at a different piece of price action and we were to say, okay, just looking at the most recent action from May to current, we can see that there is a bear flag forming here. And it's a bear flag because it came from a bear trend. If you see a pennant forming or a consolidation structure that looks like this coming from a downtrend, it will continue most likely in that downtrend fashion. We want to look at trading and charting just like we would if we were going to a casino, but we want to be tactical about it, right? We want to be tactical about our strategy, tactical about betting, and we never want to bet against the probabilities. So when we look at this chart here, we want to make sure that we are always trading with the trend. Like I talked about in a previous video, I do believe that the bear market bottom for Bitcoin is going to reside somewhere between $12,000 and $14,000, potentially a little lower, maybe around this, $10,000 or $11,000 region. But this pocket is the area where I think Bitcoin is going to break down into and then eventually give us some reversal out. I don't think that it's necessarily going to be very quick. I think we could spend some time down here at the lows, really bring sentiment down, but that is the pocket where I would be a Bitcoin buyer. But the purpose of this video is to show you some assets that you can bet on over the next 5 to 10 years, as well as profit in this current bull cycle. So let's talk about some of those altcoins. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is Casper. Now, Casper is a blockchain that's built for enterprises or businesses, right? When we think about crypto assets, we're not going to use these raw assets in their raw form, or a lot of companies don't want to build out their protocols on their own. They want to have blockchains that are easily adaptable. So if we look at Casper, Casper has upgradable smart contracts. So you can use Casper in a way that's reasonable for you and your business. And if you don't need all of those special upgrades, you can just use Casper in its raw form. You can use NFTs on Casper and a lot of other great features that are practical for businesses. Now, looking at this chart, it doesn't look very lucrative, right? You can see that Casper is trading just around 3 cents right here. The last that we saw candle-wise close was up here towards $1.19. And particularly on Huobi, the exchange we're looking at here, we can see that there's actually a ghost wick or an illiquidity wick around $66, meaning that there wasn't any buyers up here at $66. So price just continued to fall down until they started to find some buyers, right? You can see that we had a little bit of a bottoming here in August, saw a little rally up towards 28 cents, waddled around, pushed towards 21 again, and then continued its downtrend, right? Now, Casper's up there in relations to partnerships and adoptions. So I look at things beyond the charts when I make a decision. Now, the chart does play a very big decision, but when you're looking at an early asset like Casper, it's hard to determine if this price action will continue in its downtrend, right? And what I look at here is I say, okay, well, when was this launched? This was launched in May of 21, right? We were still very much in the bull run. run. We get a little bit of a pullback here. It basically benefited from the last half of the bull run and then continued into a downtrend. So some projects get the benefit of launching in a bull run and they get all this bullish price action. People say, oh, this is a great asset because it went straight up. And some projects launch in a bear market and their price action is just straight down for the first few months. But that doesn't dictate the quality of a project. Some projects just launch at unfortunate or fortunate times. So when I look at this here, this Casper chart, what I look for in the long term, first of all, I think that a lot of people say, oh, well, that wick's never going to get filled. But we look on price charts like HBAR and Algorand, and there's examples of these wicks getting filled at some point in the future. Now, not all at once, and there's no guarantee, but it is possible that Casper at some point in the future reaches $66 per coin. Now, we can also just look at this all-time high here, right? Where we have candle body closes on this 2-day chart around $1.17. So what I like to do when I'm trying to gauge price targets, go ahead and remove these, is I pull up my Fibonacci tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come from the candle body swing high and I'm going to come to the most recent swing low. So the low that's set over here right above 2 cents. So what we can see here is that we have these retracement levels, and retracement levels are areas where price may come to, even if price is going to continue in a downward fashion, generally likes to come back up to these levels, test them as resistance, and then continue moving downwards. So those areas that we like to see price turn over at are going to be the 618, 702, or 786. This little pocket up here is going to be the retracement levels where price likes to turn over. So those prices are 72 cents, 82 cents, and 91 cents. Price is currently trading at 3.5 cents right now. So from current market price to the 618, around 72 cents, is a 1900% reward. To the 702 is a 2200% reward, and to the 786 is a 2500% return. Now that's an excellent return in the short term, right? Nobody would be complaining about that nice big return. Now, when we look at the extensions, and a lot of this looks crazy, right? Because we see that price has just been in this huge downtrend, and we can see up here that generally price likes to reach a full extension, and that's generally a 3.618 or a 4.236, and these are extensions within the Fibonacci sequence. And that suggests that sometime in the future that prices reach $4 to $5 on Casper. Now, I don't think that happens necessarily this exact cycle, right? I don't think that in the next bull run we reach all the way out to $5. Is it possible? Yes, but I don't think you should count on it over this next cycle. And the reason that I have picked Casper to be both a long-term hold is also because they offer very lucrative staking. So for my short-term bag, I'll be selling some of it up there maybe towards $1.16, $1.86 for that 25, 30, 35x reward. Nothing to scoff at, right? But when I'm looking at that $4 to $5 price target, I'm going to stake my Casper coins. I'm earning 10.75% on those every single day. And when I do go to sell them, I'm going to have a lot more Casper that I paid practically nothing for. So again, just to gauge that upper target for you guys, if we look at the 4.236, if we measure from current market prices, we can see that we can get anywhere between 11,000 or almost 12,000%, and all the way up to the 4.236 is 13,475%. This is massive, massive gains, especially imagine staking those Casper the entire time, not selling them, watching it go through another bear market, obviously selling some of your bag. I always look to sell 60 to 70% of my bag, hold on to 30 to 40, and leave that staked until it reaches those price targets. Be patient, okay? People who bought Bitcoin, people who bought Chainlink, they were buying at pennies. They did not expect those prices in the next year, right? They were patient and they got rewarded for doing so. So let's take a look at another asset I have here, and it's kind of in line with Casper in relation to price action, but I actually like the structure a little bit more. And the asset is API3, a direct competitor to, speaking of, Chainlink. However, API3 focuses on using offline storage compared to online storage and allows them to process more transactions per second, right? And APIs are very important, right? It's how we get our weather, it's how we get pricing, it's how we call in all kinds of data. And if that data is inaccurate, you can make all kinds of things break, right? Transactions, telling people the weather is wrong when there's a tornado coming, right? There's all kinds of reasons that an API could get corrupted. So having decentralized APIs that are highly efficient is important, right? And I wish Chainlink well. It's going to do phenomenal in the future, but I'm looking at API3 because that's a young asset. It was launched just in the last couple of years. So when I see young assets like this, these are the gems I want to be picking up here while they're in the dumps, while nobody cares about them, right? That's what I want to be the most heavily invested in these kinds of assets. So looking at API3, you can see that we have a high over here on this chart on KuCoin around $10.49. Some exchanges show different pricing. But we're going to go ahead and use this KuCoin chart here. Now, what we do see here is that we have a little bit of a structure forming, right? We kind of got this double top up here. And then on the bottom here, we are forming a little bit of a floor of support, right? Now, it's a little sloppy, but you can see there's examples. We got the launch over here on KuCoin. We got the pullback here. We got some price action here. Got a recent test here, right? It's building a little bit of a structure. And what this is going to look like most likely in the rear view is something like this, right? Because we always look at assets and we're like, wow, this really sucks right now. But if you look into the future, right, like let's say into 2025, because we're expecting the next halving in 2024. So this would be somewhere into the next bull run of 2025. Imagine if this is just an accumulation structure, right? And we just continue to break higher and higher and higher on API3. And this is just a elongated accumulation structure, okay? And we're going to use the Fibonacci here just like we did on Casper. So I'm going to go ahead and make this chart reasonably sized again so we can take a look together. Let's go ahead and remove the drawings here. So just like on Casper, we're going to go ahead and take our Fibonacci tool. We're going to go swing high and we're going to go swing low, okay? You can see that again, we're trading well below these retracement levels, which means that it is almost fully riskless, right? Not to say that investing doesn't have risk. It always does, especially altcoins, very, very volatile. But when you're trading below the 20% or the 382, those are the best areas for you to pick up coins because most of the depreciation has already happened, right? If we look at API3 from its all-time high, it's currently down 83%. It was down at almost 90%, 89% back here in June, right? So we're like mostly off the all-time highs. We've mitigated most of the risk. So looking at this structure here, what do we see? We see that the 618, 702, and 786 are up here, right? Between $7 and $8.50. So again, from current market price, that gives us a 340% return, a 387, or even a 430% return. Nice, right? But if we look at the extensions up here, right? We look at, the 386 and the 4.236, we can see that from here to the 3.618 is a 2,000% return, and the 4.236 is almost a 2,500% return. And we didn't look at this example with Casper, but you can see that the extensions continue, right? Because Fibonacci is a sequence. Sequences don't end, they go on forever and ever. So we have seen many assets do 21, 34, 55 extensions, and even 377. Bitcoin has done well beyond a 377 extension. We saw Solana do beyond a 377 extension. Assets can go on parabolic runs where these prices are reached, but you should not be investing based on a 377 extension and you want it to happen in this bull run, or looking at a 55 extension saying it's going to happen in this bull run. We want to gauge between a 2.618 and a 4.236 as the top of the bull run. So at least we're de-risking, we're paying ourselves back, and then we're leaving some of it to ride, right? We want to make sure that we pay ourselves back because every cycle we're going to see diminishing returns, right? The market will eventually get regulated. It will calm down a bit. But while we're in these phases, we want to be capitalizing on many of these young projects that have great potential, great teams, and are doing a lot with building, right? So what does this tell us for API3? Because my long-term target is actually somewhere up around this 13 to 21 extension. So it says from just current market prices, which again, we are going to be DCAing down. I do not think this is the bottom for any of these assets I'm showing you here. But if we look at where I'm looking to take profits long-term, that is a 127,000% return. And up here at the 34 is this is a 13,000% return, and this is a 20,000% return. Long term, again, I'm staking my API3. I'm earning 10% on my API3 every 7 days. If you're going to have long-term bags, please keep them in cold storage or keep them staked. Those are the only two things you should be doing with your coins. Exchanges do not deserve to hold your coins, especially if you're going to be holding them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years or more, right? Now, the last asset I want to talk to you guys about is XRP. And XRP gets a little bit of a bad rap because people talk about cryptocurrency and its decentralized nature, and people really want only these types of people to use it for peer-to-peer transactions. But decentralized means anyone can use it, and that means people maybe we don't like, right? Banks and institutions. But the reality is, if you want real money to pour into a project, you want institutional money to pour into your project. So when we talk about XRP, XRP is primarily for cross-border payments. And there's a fintech company, Ripple, that uses the digital asset XRP to create on-demand liquidity products, meaning that they can create remittance pipelines, allowing people to send money back and forth to other parts of the world without the need for a pre-funded account. So I could send XRP from here in the United States to Mexico in under 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny, and I can send in dollars and they can receive in pesos, right? We're solving lots and lots of problems using XRP. So let's get into the chart here and see why I'm so bullish on XRP. So we can see that, first of all, XRP in the past has performed really, really well. So even from, these 2013 lows over here, you can see that first spike up was a 2,000% return in a very short period back here in 2013, right? We came in for a retracement, right? We weren't able to break into new highs here, came in for a retrace, still a nice rally off the lows, and then really didn't do a whole lot through 2015, 2016 until the iconic 2017 bull run. XRP is another example of an asset hitting a 55 extension perfectly, right? And it didn't happen all at once, right? People sat through this 2013, 2016, 2017. Finally, they got that big payout in 2018. Now, we can see that after that happened, we got a big crashing structure. Obviously, Ripple Labs got sued by the SEC for selling unregistered securities. That should be coming to an end sometime in 2023. And seeing this chart here, it says that we can reach, obviously, any of these extensions up here. I just stop at a 377, but you guys can add additional numbers here in the Fibonacci sequence. So from current market prices trading at just a mere 48 cents right now, we can see that if we were to reach out to even the 55 extension again, that's a 560% reward. That's just retesting the all-time high. What if we break through and we get to a $5 price point? That's almost a 10x, right? The 144 extension, 1,500%. The 233, 2,600%, and the 377, a 4,200% reward. My personal opinion is that XRP does reach somewhere between $13 and $21. I'm actually leaning a lot more towards a $21 top on XRP because we're most likely going to have a combination of Ripple settling with the SEC or some variation thereof, and the next halving starting in 2024, right, with all assets moving on up. This structure is very old. When you have old structures and you see they respect a Fibonacci range, there's a higher likeliness of that range continuing to get respected into the future. So when I look at XRP, I'm not staking any of it right now. Nobody's offering anything competitive enough for me to stake it there. So everything I have XRP-wise, long and short term, is in cold storage. I highly recommend it. But I do see both the short-term and the long-term potential. Now, I think that if we look really quickly once more here at XRP, we say, okay, we're going to look beyond the 377, and we're going to look from the most recent swing high to swing low here, right? From the 2018 high to the most recent 2020 low. Again, trading below these retracement levels, still a lot of potential here. What does this tell us if we look into the future using the most recent range here, right? It still shows $13, $20, $25, right? But it shows that XRP could be a 3-figure coin in the future, and even a 4-figure coin, right? And just to illustrate how powerful this could be, right? Let's say that this does really go on to do something powerful and gets out to $1,200 a coin. Look at this percentage. That is a 250,000% return. Now, again, do I recommend that you don't sell a single XRP until $1,200? No, of course not. I'll be selling a ton of my XRP between $13 and $21 because I know that it's inevitable that bear markets come, we'll see a nice crash, 60, 70, 80%, and then we'll be able to reaccumulate and buy more XRP, right? The name of the game is stack coins so that you can make more fiat so you can buy more coins, right? And that's the cycle we want to perpetuate. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on today. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Again, you guys can join cryptocharge.com, get all of these insights, understand what we're buying, when we're buying it, as well as day trades and swing trades. Use TA Academy for 40% off. That's TA Academy for 40% off. Catch you guys next time.